You've been with us for a while, at least double-digit episodes by now. So we're going to reward you with a special Halloween episode by showing you how much we hate Halloween movies.
Everyone has their favorite, horror movies out there. Mine happens to be the original 1953, could be 56, House on Haunted Hill in black and white.
Snob.
Vincent Price.
Stir of Echoes.
Okay, that's yours. But of course, there are tons and tons of really bad horror movies out there.
Just awful.
So we're going to share a few of our favorites with you. If you don't mind, I will start us off. I have a top 10 countdown that I would like to do first, and then
Lead the way.
All right, number 10, the entire Child's Play series. They never made any sense to me. You have a 2-foot-tall doll. I don't care if it's possessed by an evil, serial killer.
Be that as it may, I always felt like the same thing about Leprechaun.
Yeah, but with Leprechaun, at least he had, magic powers.
Yeah, but you could chuck your shoes as an escape tactic because he had to chase over and polish him up,
Make it nice and shiny.
Yeah. But with Child's Play, you kick him and you stomp on him. It's over.
Well, it's not like that kills him.
No, but you don't have to deal with him again. He has to try to be brought back again.
Fair enough, but you have to admit, after 3, they weren't even trying to be scary.
No, not at all. All right, number 9, The Devil's Reign. Shatner and Borgnine. Enough said.
Oy.
Yeah. Watching Ernest Borgnine there turn into a strange goat devil thing. Yeah, that just killed it all. Number 8, Final Destination. All of them.
I liked the first one. You had stuff to think about to understand, this was the foreshadowing for that. This was the foreshadowing for that. And it wasn't always like, we're going to spell it out for you because we, are wide market now.
Well, you could just tell that, especially even towards the end of that movie, they were running out of ways to make things inadvertently happen, such as, doors creaking open or
I was thinking more along the lines of the teacher stuff.
Yeah, it just got really obvious.
That was drawn out.
Yeah, they ran it really fast.
Fun. I mean, by that point, you have a couple of chuckles, you enjoy yourself regardless.
Number 7, any attempt at a Stephen King book to movie with very few exceptions. I will give you The Shining movie.
Thank you.
And perhaps as a miniseries, Storm of the Century.
What about Carrie?
No, I did not.
No Carrie? Oh my word!
The book was far and away better than the movie.
I still have yet to read the book.
The movie was contrived.
I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, it's much better as a
What about the remake?
No. And I have some issues with remakes that we're going to get into here in a moment.
Oh yes, I'm sure Platinum Dunes is going to get a few angry letters.
All right, number 6, Jason X.
I've only ever seen Friday the 13th and Freddy vs. Jason.
Okay. This Jason X is basically Jason in space.
Well, yeah, once you go to space, it's kind of like, hey, we're aping ourselves.
Beyond the fact that it was just a really bad movie. It had some of the worst lines that they're just puns that were just awful in a movie I've ever seen in my life. Take for instance.
Worse than Hellraiser 3.
Yes.
Oh wow, I did not expect you to take me up on that.
Yes. How about this? At one point, a person who is fighting Jason, who happens to be a commando type, is thrown over a balcony railing, lands on a arbitrary spire of some kind that also happens to be a corkscrew.
Because there's always a spire.
Yes. And slowly spins down it. And then, of course, later on, some of his companions show up, and they go over the radio, and they mention, he's screwed.
Oh.
Yes.
That is a Freddy Krueger level pun.
It's awful. Then later on in the movie...
Wait. What about Freddy Goes to Manhattan? I mean, Jason Goes to Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan? That's also another bad movie, but this was worse. This was...
Worse than implying that New York at midnight is flooded with toxic sewage that is capable of killing you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, here's more of it. At one point, you find out that somehow Jason is now able to survive the vacuum of space, is walking around the outside of his
He's killed
space
so many
station.
times. It's not like he's
walking around the outside of his space station and punches a hole through the side of the space station. One of the floor grates on the inside, of course, how this happens, I'm not sure, apparently has enough wind resistance to be pulled up against the hole that he just made, and one of the female characters is being sucked towards the hole, and just before she loses her grip, she yells, "This really sucks."
Ah, the Casper rounds.
And then gets sucked out the hole. Meanwhile, totally ignoring any possibility of the science behind how that sort of thing actually works.
That's a horror movie. They ain't scientists.
All right, number 5, House of Wax, 2005, not the 1953 Vincent Price version.
I'll allow it. Although,
Paris Hilton? Really?
she dies. She dies.
I don't care. She doesn't die well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like her to be euthanized? Would you like her to be coaxed off to sleep gently?
No.
She got ripped in half.
I don't care. She got a speaking line. No.
You are just nitpicky Pickerson.
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Apparently, being pulled apart isn't good enough for your enemies.
No. Now it's Paris freaking Hilton. Sorry.
Oy.
Sorry, Paris. I don't care for you. You're famous for being famous.
Well,
Don't care.
She was. Now she's. I don't know. I feel she's starting to parlay into more useful things.
Let's hope, because she hasn't done anything useful yet. Okay, moving on, because we're going to get sidetracked.
Of course.
And we still need to get to yours as well, so I want to get through these.
And mine's a lot more crazy. Oh, just disorganized, I mean.
Number 4, zombie strippers. This has a spot. Yeah, this has a spot specifically for being horrifically bad on multiple levels. I mean, you have the zombie aspect, but you also have the fact that it's
your
slated,
hatred of zombies.
It also has this slated in like the whole evil things that happen in a stripper / whorehouse type of.
Oh, so it's kind of like Dusk Till Dawn.
It's not. It doesn't even register on that.
No, I mean like the fact that it takes place in the.
I mean, you're talking about strippers who are infected by bites from Marines who are there. They were infected, and everybody wants them to be zombies because they love the way they dance.
Hey, a fetish is a fetish.
It's
Don't
very-
knock it.
Okay, number 3, Night of the Lepus.
Oh, Night of the Lepus.
Killer bunnies.
The most adorable.
Really?
The most adorable invasion ever.
Yes. I'm sorry, but just putting bunnies on slow motion does not make them scary.
Well, it wasn't that they were slow motion; it's that they were supposed to be giant bunnies.
Yeah. Don't care.
It's basically like that South Park episode, the inconvenience scene, or the startling, where they go down to Peru, but the whole town is beset by guinea pigs in various
yes.
costumes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Number 2, the entire zombie genre.
Yes, we've already gone over your hatred for zombies, you zombist.
Just go back to our, not this last episode, but the
7th, I want to say.
No, I think it was number 9.
No. 8. If it.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
You
8
can just look at the
7?
description; it'll tell you which one it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're having a hard time keeping track. All right. And before I get to my number 1, I have several honorable mentions I want to bring up.
Alrighty.
Number 1, slugs.
Slugs.
Tapping into the 1980s sphere of all things nuclear, we have toxic waste exposed slugs
Okay,
that
not
now
what-
crave human flesh because salt no longer exists.
Not what I was thinking of. I thought you meant slither.
No. Next, the creeping terror.
Oh, I thought you were going to say frogs.
No, but that one was in here, but I figured since I already touched on slugs, it was kind of in the same area, so I just left that out. Continuing the slug idea, though, these ones come from space to eat people and look like rolled up shag carpets.
What you can do with a logit.
Birdemic. Think Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, except the birds explode or puke acid.
Wasn't that guy just trying to copy Sharknado in his own way?
I don't know, but it was really bad.
Oh yeah, but dude, it was a sci-fi movie. I mean, when you go, oh wow, that movie made for the Sci-Fi Channel was really well done and put together.
Exactly. Well, pretty much anything off the Sci-Fi Channel is really bad.
We used to be proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the days of Farscape and
Back when they spelled it
Stargate.
right.
Yeah, right?
Oh, Anna Mondays.
Yes, those were awesome. But we're getting off track.
Yep.
We still have to get to your list as well.
Yep.
Okay. The Haunting, the 1999 version. Yet more evidence that remakes are a bad idea, especially when they're remakes of movies from the king of horror flicks himself, Vincent Price.
Well, they just really trashed the ending or
Yeah.
anything.
It's really bad. Don't play with something that Vincent Price has already nailed. Leave it alone. Next, Blair Witch 2. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Did not even bother to see it.
Yeah. Don't waste your time.
Tell me what to do.
Getting a little authoritarian on you. The Wishmaster series. Because only one person ever realizes what's going on with the Wishmaster, and instead of wishing him to have never existed, just pawns him off in the next push schlub.
Is that the Charles Bronson series?
No. This is...
I think that's Death Wish.
Yeah, that's Death Wish. No, Wishmaster is this evil thing that's existed forever or whatever, and it grants wishes, but of course those wishes
It's very Murphy's Paw.
Exactly. And it's just very ridiculous. And of course, one person only ever wishes it back to the point before the first wish was made, rather than just wishing that he never existed. It's really weird. And finally, in my honorable mentions, Trolls 2. When you really want to eat people, when you really want to eat people, but they're made of meat, what's a vegetarian troll to do?
Oh,
I turn them into vegetables, of course.
That's like all I know from that movie.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, what's a vegetarian troll to do? Alright, now, finally, coming down to my number one. Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Oh, Manos.
The only way to get through this movie was by watching the MST3K version.
Or just drinking heavily.
I don't think you can even get through there. I think the depression would probably cause you to...
You become your own MST3K.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, MST3K is Mystery Science Theater 3000, a fantastic show. One of those ones that
rolls as weed.
one of those ones that sci-fi should never have let go, should never have played with, where a guy and his robots sit around and make fun of really bad movies while watching them. It's hysterical. And like I said, the only way to get through that movie is watching it that version. Otherwise, you will probably curl up into a ball, crawl under your covers, and never come out again.
They ended up becoming riff tracks, right? Or is that somebody else?
I think that's somebody else.
Oh dear.
It's very, but the whole idea was very funny. I very much enjoyed most of what they did, and that, like I said, that was the only way I could get through that movie. I mean, it honestly looked like they spent about $20 on the budget, and most of that was in gas for the car. It was awful. I think when one of the main bad guys is just a guy with a cane, a beard, and what looks like someone put footballs in the thigh part of his pants. That's it. That's the big scary monster.
Sorry.
All right. Well, now that we're done with my my list, please, by all means, go to yours.
Alrighty. It's just in no order, just as I can think of them. Jeepers Creepers 2. I liked the first one. You not so much?
Not really, but the whole attacking high schoolers, teenagers.
Well, at least the first time, it was like, oh hey, these kids, they intruded upon my area. They found out my secret. Now I'm gonna go kill them.
But it doesn't make sense. You get hit with a car, run over several times, and you're still not dead. I don't care how tough
Maybe he's an immortal, one of the ancients.
Something, but they never, of course, go into any kind of detail to explain how he could.
Well, I'm sorry.
This sort of thing.
Maybe it's not going. Oh, hey, yeah, that thing that's chasing you. I just so happen to be the guy that knows exactly what it is. I mean, let's face it. These kind of things, unless like they're well known, it's like, oh, there's a Jeeper Creeper attack today. You best stay indoors, folks.
Yeah.
And put on your deodorant because it spells fear, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, unless like everyone knows about it, you're not gonna just randomly stumble upon,
But I'm just saying, like you said, I think it is.
At least with the second one, it was stupid. It's like, oh hey, there's a football team, let's have at it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more. They got a bigger budget and they wanted to show it off, and it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Another one I was gonna say, it's called The Invitation.
I did see something about that. Yes.
I'm not sure if it's the same one. This is what I liked back when places like Blockbuster and Hollywood existed. You could, actually see something, be like, okay, I've never heard of this. It looks like crap. Let's get it and laugh. Basically, these people get invited out to a log cabin where the sound audio is just terrible. If the camera's, more than 15 feet away, you cannot hear what these people are saying.
Yeah.
And you do not even know what is going on in this movie, except for one scene, which to this day always brings a smile to my face. You got this butler who takes care of the log cabin, and then you got this nosy neighbor who's always like, "Yo, shouldn't go in that cabin. That cabin's a place of evil." And then all of a sudden, like one scene, she's up to her neck in, buried in the ground, and he's coming at her with this snowblower, even though there's like no snow on the ground. So for whatever, and he's just got like this happy, I popped 10 Vicodin and now I'm gonna have some fun kind of look on his face, and just for no reason, like this thing has like a windscreen on it, like a windshield, and like you just see like a bucket of blood just come flying at this thing.
Crying out loud.
So yeah, it's one of those movies, and it's like it wasn't, it wasn't this person, it was the ghost of this person possessing people that caused this to happen. It's one of those. Another one in that genre I kind of like I mean, I like it because it makes me laugh. I'm sure the sequels are a lot worse. Killjoy.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, basically, it's inner city. Not Julia White has a crush on not Laura Winslow. Not Laura Winslow's boyfriend is all, oh, you want my girl? You can't have her because I'm going to kill you. And then he's like, oh, hey, let's be friends for no reason and come with me for no reason, and I'm going to kill you, and you're dead. And then his goes, because apparently not Julia White was into voodoo, he summoned up a clown. And this clown apparently gets these guys into his mystical, magical ice cream truck because Sweet Tooth was popular back then. By telling them he has weed. And then by entering the ice cream truck, it's like an alternate universe, like, it's his rules now, and just one of them actually turns into a blunt and gets set on fire.
It sounds kind of like they were trying to also play off of the Friday the 13th, the Freddy Krueger movies.
Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Yeah.
By the way, what do you think of the remake?
I never cared for them to begin with. Not so much that they were bad; they just didn't hold any appeal to me.
I don't know. That was one of those series I watched when I was young, so it had a bigger impact.
When I saw the one where Freddy splits open the girl and then paints a swastika on the ceiling with her body, it was like, no thanks.
I saw the one where like the one kid's in a wheelchair, but he dreams that he can walk when he's, dreaming.
Interesting. I don't think I saw that one, but it reminded me, though, when you were talking about the snowblower and the bucket of blood, it reminded me of the original Evil Dead, which is not going to be on this list. It's not a bad horror movie.
We will not speak a bad word of anything Bruce Campbell is involved in.
No, I'm just saying it reminded me of in the first Evil Dead where one guy gets pulled halfway down into the basement by the witch-looking thing, and suddenly a fire hose worth of blood goes spewing out of it, and it's like, wait a minute, there's not that much blood in the human body. So anyway, I'm sorry, continue.
Yes. 13 Ghosts.
It was okay. The ending was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was with horror movies in the 90s, but they always had to have that weird family coming together, happy ending thing. That's basically what they did at the end of The Haunting.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah, the ending to that seemed a little off. I mean,
let's see. The Suicide Club.
I've not seen that.
It's a Japanese film. That's probably why.
Is that what's right?
Basically, here's how it goes. There's a website. It predicts when a whole bunch of people are going to kill themselves, and then a whole bunch of... It's like, orange means they're going to kill themselves. Blinking orange means they're going to kill themselves within the next 5 minutes, and red means, hey, guess who's too late? You. And then got this guy who's trying to solve the case, and this girl's trying to solve the case, and then somehow it devolves into this, like, J-Rock looking dude with, like, long hair, and a wolf in a bowling alley, and for some reason he's singing in English. And the one creepy thing about it is, damn.
Oh, really quick, not to interrupting you here. Did you see, speaking of Japanese horror movies, they made a live-action Attack on Titan?
I would not be surprised.
It's an hour and a half of horrible.
Well, I mean, compared to what the show was,
yeah.
it would be kind of hard to get all of that into an hour and a half.
Well, that's just it. It was only supposed to be the first few episodes or something like that. Yeah,
they tried to do with the Samurai Jack movie.
Yeah, they tried to just smash it all together in a live action, and it's really bad. The effects are bad. Even the Titans themselves look ridiculous. It's not a good movie. Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. We were talking about the Suicide Club.
Suicide Club. Okay, there's this one creepy scene that I will always love. Like all throughout the movie, there's this J-pop band. They're playing their hip hop, their hoppy bobby. Right now I have that stuck in my head. Anyways, and it's like, stop listening to that stuff. It's stupid. Or it's like on the radio and he's telling his buddy, Christ, turn that stuff off. That stuff will make your brain dead. And the woman is looking at her poster after she's rescued from this J-rock singer / wolf at the bowling alley who just finished singing an entire song. She's looking at this this poster of the band, and let's see, there's
dead air.
Five or six girls on the poster. Each one is wearing a numbered jersey and holding at least one, hand with numbers on it, and when you type that into your phone, you may not know this, but back in the day, phones had letters on them, so you could like dial 1-800-RUN-PEAL or whatever. And when you type that out, it spelled out suicide. So it was like kind of implied that they were in on it too. And then all of a sudden, she was like someplace else, and they got like this wood shaver, and they like rip a chunk out of her back, and then some children are laughing. Credits.
That's awful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Also, Suspiria.
Never heard of that.
It's a weird one. I don't know why I could not get into it. It's just I don't know. I think it's like one of those European ones.
Yeah.
But just I don't know. That never did anything for me. And like that was on Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments of All Time, which I like better than Bravo's 13 Even Scarier Movie Moments, which is like, oh hey, you know all those classics? Well, F those things. We got remakes. You know what's awesome? Saw. You know what's even more awesome? Hostel.
No.
Yeah. Jaws was number 1 of the original 100 countdown. Hostel was number 1 of the top 15, even scarier ones.
But Hostel honestly wasn't scary.
Yeah, exactly. It's not horror. It's a snuff film.
Basically, yeah, that's what it was, and it ended stupidly. And again, if you haven't figured out by now that this was going to have spoilers all through it, then what are you doing listening? But at the end of that, where the guy is not really wanting to go through with it, but ends up accidentally actually hitting the woman that he snuck down there or whatever in the head with a angle grinder and actually causing her to probably slowly die, and he freaks and tries to evenly kill him for it. And then the woman that was originally being tortured by a different guy turns the tables and ends up shooting him in the junk so that he can bleed to death.
It was less scare, more gore.
Yeah, and it was like the cannibal was trying to be Hannibal Lecter.
Anyways, I got another one. Sauna. It was 90 minutes of a number of people trapped in a sauna that kept getting hotter until like finally they managed to get out.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Well, no, I mean, it took a lot of effort. It wasn't just like, oh, hey, I finally jiggled the handle the 97th time, and now we're free. It wasn't like that. It was like, okay, so-and-so decided to sacrifice himself by hugging the furnace or whatever, which caused a thing, which caused an explosion. So, yeah, now there's a hole that we can actually, sort of tear open and escape from. We were planning to see that one where like the guy's stuck on the ski lift, which I was told is actually very good.
Huh.
But instead we ended up seeing this. Now as for like more, this actually made it to film. Yeah. Sinister.
I recognize it now. I'm trying to...
I'll tell you, yeah, no. They get so like one word vague, and like it's like this one's sinister, this one's insidious, this one's mischievous, and it's just like, oh, okay.
They're bad enough that you don't really remember.
Well, no, I liked it. I loved it.
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, the dude is investigating a murder that happened in a house. He comes across a whole bunch of films, and they call things like mowing the lawn, or fun barbecue, or in the car, or hanging around, and he put the first one in. And it's the murder that took place in the house that he's living in, that he's trying to solve. Okay, so he watches this murder take place. What would you do? Would you A, call the police, B, call a private investigator to have this film authenticated, whilst at the same time not blowing the cover on what could be a very real book deal, or C, swallow your drink like a man and watch the rest of the films, all of which contain various gruesome murders?
Definitely not C.
Too bad, that's what he does.
Of course, though. He has to. It's in the script.
Of course, yeah. Curse you, scripts.
That reminds me of one that was really, really bad. I want to say it was called The House.
The House.
The House.
Hugh Roy?
I don't remember the name. I can picture the people. As a matter of fact, it was one of the main bad guy was actually the guy who played Bull from Nightcrawler.
Ah!
And the whole thing is that this house has been passed down through the family, and it always manages to drive the people in the house to the point of suicide and to kill themselves. And it's actually a gateway to a person's mind. It's very odd.
It sounds like that one Treehouse of Horror that The Simpsons did.
Might be similar, and they may have been spoofing it, yes.
But anyways, and the one thing I really hated was the jump scare at the end, because all these horror movies have to have a jump scare, because of course. Well, I mean, it was popular after Friday the 13th, so.
Yeah.
But basically what happened was, there's this jump scare like earlier where you like sort of like, this is head in from the side. And the jump scare is the exact same thing, but from the other side. And it's just...
Sorry, you can't hear an eye roll.
Big. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, Quarantine.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Basically, here's how it goes. They a crew that's like doing basically like a cleaner, more family-friendly version of Dave Attell's. What was it called? I'm trying to think what it's called. I know the song. I know the song. You know, drums and hobos, or is it flows and hoes and one-eyed gifts. Follow me, you will see a midnight freak so Julie kick Insomniac.
I was just waiting for you to get to it.
Because I've never watched that show in its entirety, but I remember the song.
Yeah.
But no, it's like a cleaner version of Dave Attell's Insomniac. We're like, oh, we're gonna go see what a fire station's like.
Yeah.
And basically, like, okay, we got a call, something going on at an apartment, and apparently the problem with the apartment isn't that nothing runs on a bulb higher than 5 watts.
Yeah.
Because this is a poorly lit place, and this is before like the power gets cut, and then
It's like in a perpetual brownout.
Oh, but no, it's like not only do we get utter darkness, now we get to hear the the reporter constantly shout, "Keep the light on me, keep the light on me," because that makes everything so scary.
Yeah.
And at the end, like what happens is they somehow, I guess, get to the attic, even though I think they spent so much of the movie climbing downwards. I don't know, it's very hard to follow, because this was like back when shaky's considered, avant-garde.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like
And
just
more
some dude
authentic and more realistic.
and it's just some dude in his underwear. I mean, that's what it looks like, I'm gonna give partial credit to the next one. I hated it at first, but because after listening to somebody else online talk about it, Noah Antweiler, aka Spoony One, talk about it, I kind of came around to his side of things. It's called The Last Exorcism. And just in case you didn't hear what he said earlier, I'm just going to come out and do full spoilers. Dude's a fraudulent exorcist. Everything he does with like smoke and wires. And he's like, okay, this is my last job. I'm getting too old for this Don Cheadle reference. And so basically he gets called out to Hickville, Hick somewhere. And it's like, oh, your daughter's possessed, and you think it's a demon or a Satan or Beelzebub or something. And he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And then he does his thing. He's like, ooh, I'm using strings to make the paintings wiggle, so you think that something deep is going down. Like, ooh, I got a crucifix with a bit of dry ice in it, so that when I press it with flesh, you think that's the demon rising now. Ooh, but then like stuff starts happening, and then you're like, oh my God, is this really a possession? Is this just like weird stuff that she's doing? And then what happens is, like, finally, she confesses that she was afraid that she was pregnant by some local dude, and she didn't want to just come out
And own up to it.
exactly. And he's like, oh, okay, you got some and now you're ashamed. Cool, I'm out. And on his way out, he stops at like a local, we got the best pie in town place. And she's like, oh, no, it's blown off by IED back in Ewood, whatever. And it's like, oh, so she reminds us. And such an easy line to boot. Let's go back and see what's going on now. There's Satan things everywhere. I don't know what's going on. I'm here chin. I see a giant bonfire. There's a demon rising up out of flames. I'm gonna die, aren't I?
Oh boy.
I mean,
It was funny.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The way he talks about it, I can buy it. It just wasn't in the movie presented well. It just felt like an extra.
Totally
like it's like, what a twist! It wasn't the demon after all. And I'm like, what a twist! You thought it wasn't the demon after all, but it was a demon all the time.
That's funny that you bring that up. I was just gonna say, if that one that you were talking about, I forget the one with the videos of the murders.
Sinister.
If that had been an M. Night Shyamalan, you would have ended up having the guy who was watching the videos was actually the one who had committed all the murders.
Oh no, it's some guy called the book, whatever.
No, I'm just saying it would have been that he was the one that did it, but somehow had like amnesia from doing it. So.
I will say this: I have got a Guillermo del Toro movie out there.
Oh boy.
Alone in the Dark.
Oh yes,
Here's
that's on
how it goes.
everybody's list.
Well, come on, this is not just a horror movie. This is a case of child neglect on an epic scale. Because basically, there's this house. They're infested with rats, but they're like not just rats. They're rat people. They walk around. They are afraid of light. They can't stand light. But for some reason, they like children. So every time this little girl's alone and it's dark, they try to get her. And on multiple occasions, like her parents end up intervening in some manner, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And like even like before even halfway through the movie's over, the parents know something's up. They may not know what, but they know something's up. And as it progresses forward, it's like, oh, it's tiny rat people, and they only come out when it's dark and our child's alone, so we must never leave our child alone. Let's go back to the house, and we'll go back to the house. I'm gonna go find your father, but you stay right here all alone by yourself in a room separate from the entire giant party filled with people. So, yeah.
If I had one, I would be head desking right now.
Yeah, your face palming enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely doing the card face palm there. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so many bad months out there.
Of course there are.
So much schlock, as you call it.
Sanitarium. Mystical, weird disease starts going around in an insane asylum. No one knows what it is, but it affects everyone. Like, it doesn't make them violent, it just makes them weird. And for the life of me, like, it's never really resolved, but it ends with, like, the main character just standing there as balloons fall, and you got, like, this chubby patient. Because, like, the main character was the doctor, he was trying to solve, like, I'll find out what's going on. Look at my dimpled chin, look at my floating hair. Clearly, I'm the guy who's going to solve this. And he doesn't solve it, he succumbs to it. Or was he already crazy to begin with? But basically what happens is, like, it's just him in the middle of a single lit spotlight, and like in the background you got this giant guy in like a hospital gown, and he's like, arms up and down, slowly waddling in a circle like a giant circus bear as balloons fall from the ceiling.
These are bad.
Of course they are.
Do you have any others?
At the moment,
Because I'm sure at this point our listeners are puking.
oh, I'm sure. Let me think. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I got nothing.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we should wrap this up before we get our people any more
Impressed.
Yeah. This is supposed to be Halloween. It's supposed to be fun. So
Have you ever seen the second
this was
movie?
fun for us. I did. It was okay.
I kind of want to see it because I caught the end of it once. I liked Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be Jimmy Stewart, and we all
Yeah.
need to just get over that.
Yeah.
He's not going to be
That's-
Jimmy Stewart. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But as far as just like a very awkward, slightly deranged person, he's believable. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, he's not going to be Jimmy Stewart, but you can look at him and be like, something's not right.
Well, all right. Well, ladies, on that note, let's wrap it up. Let everyone get back to enjoying their Halloween. You know, trick or treat safely, everyone.
Having a gala.
No, I don't want one.
Too bad, I bought two, so we're split.
Oh, crap.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but it was funny. That's all that matters.
Indeed.
All right. So, I'm Drew.
I am with you.
Happy Halloween.
Woo!